After reading the script, I was surprised and confused with the concept of parallel universes. Homosexualities being the majority and heterosexuals the minority. It is a situation which is unimaginable. Maybe it's because we live in a world that's opposite to our movie. But through this movie, and replicating what the homosexual population is seeing through their eyes, I believe it will make others who don't understand homosexuality to understand.
I think I'm in the majority, and sometimes the majority does not accept or even bullies the minority. We often hear people talk about equalities and respecting individual differences. But do we really experience it in reality? The clip that we are making gives people a chance to think, what if the world turned another way? And when the norm becomes minority, then we may start to change our attitude towards homosexual individuals and respecting individual differences.
Who are you? When asked a simple question, many of us would immediately answer with our names, professions, or nationalities. But seldom one would reply, I'm heterosexual. It is too natural and self-evident to be heterosexual in this world where heterosexual consists the majority. And it seems that the difficulty in expressing one's sexual orientation only disturbs the homosexual or other sexual groups, which are labeled as the minority. But what if the whole situation changed? What will it be like in a homosexual universe? Do we need to come out or re-identify us as heterosexuals? When we become the minority and are confronted with the same challenge, can we still hold our stance in love?
Basically, our aim is to use Derek's original idea and adapt it collaboratively into our group's final piece. Now, it was good to kind of run through the script together and find out the context we were going to put it in. Ultimately, we're aiming to structure it like a young man's final message to his family after he's decided not to continue with life anymore. After my initial reading of the script some weeks before, I hadn't come away with this interpretation. However, after discussing it with Derek and the rest of the group, it seemed an appropriate closure to what was otherwise, a very hard-hitting feel of the film. Our earlier meeting also gave us the opportunity to clarify and mould the original intent of the piece as a group, which gave us all, and me especially, a chance to solidify the objective of the film and what we wanted to portray through its production. Originally, my impression of the script was very positive and has remained so as the project has progressed so far. I particularly like the parallels established between the experiences of Jeremy and his desperate bid to love the person he wants to love, in this case a heterosexual woman, and those of homosexuals everywhere and their appeal to love whomever they want without having to deal with the constant societal commentary.
It's so natural for the majority people to be like themselves. They don't have to defend themselves and they don't have to go through all those struggles that the minority people might experience. They don't have to try hard to accept themselves and try hard to be accepted by people around. But what if all this go upside down? That's what happened in this film. The majority becomes the minority. All those hardness again now become what we thought was the majority people are going to suffer. The Confucius once said that don't impose what we don't like to others. And as a majority, as one member of the majority, we always like forgetting that fact and putting those hardness on other people. But it is really the time that we should think that what we would like to be treated, and don't just look on the differences we have, but also treat everybody like
So it's like, sorry, I just stood on your toe.
You're so funny.
Alright. This is what it looks like. Whoa, that's trippy! Wow.
What's trippy?
Look, you can see, like, when you were here, you were in the camera, and then here, and then it's, wow. Wow, look at, wow, man, cool. Okay, there we go, let's stop.
When I wrote the script, I tried to captivate the emotional turmoil one must go through in order to achieve self-acceptance in a world so intent on breeding homophobia. To me, coming out is a process of accepting yourself for who you are, despite the attitudes and pressures from those around you. It is not about flaunting your sexuality. That's something different altogether. Now, growing up, we all have to deal with coming out, whether we are homosexual or not. Some people are tall, some are short, fat, or even thin. And it's the attitude of society that affects how easy or hard it is to achieve self-acceptance. Just as you would never get a tattoo from an artist without one, or a piercing from someone without any creations of their own, people need to feel the effects of their actions. This is my basis for the use of an inverted society. Feel the sharp end of your own spear.
So sorry. Are we? I'm sorry.
Everyone wants to be accepted. Who doesn't? But what's it like when people are supposed to accept you for who you are don't? Still don't get what I mean? What if your mom and dad, brothers and sisters don't accept you? What if your friends don't accept you? What if you yourself don't accept who you really are? Not many people understand how this feels, and statistics shows that 9 out of 10 people never have to. Finding out who you are is difficult enough without the world giving you a hard time. But you never know what it's like to be slapped in the face until that day it actually happens to you. This reminds me of a story. It's this time when my sister was tapping my dad's arm with one of those cardboard doorknob hanger thingies. He didn't really say anything. Eventually, my sister accidentally hits herself, and only then did she realize that it actually did hurt. Of course, she apologized, but what I'm trying to say is, what if? What if that was you? What if you get all the crap that normally you dish out? What if you are the minority?